comes to gravel cycling, could bigger actually mean better? You know I'm talking about bikes, right? Not my 6'4" frame. I'll show you this. Okay, so as you can tell by the title of this video, no doubt, today we are going to be looking at the Genesis Vagabond 10. Thanks to Dave and Jack at Pickerings Bikes and the wonderful guys at Genesis Bikes, I have been given a Genesis Vagabond 10 to try at my leisure. Now, I don't get to keep it, but I do get to try it out on all kinds of terrain and tell you guys what I think of it. So, today we're going to look at the bike, we're going to look at the spec, we're going to look at every bit of the bike in detail, how it rides, what it's for, who it's for, and whether you should buy one. So let's take a quick look at the bike before we get into the detail. This is the Vagabond 10. There are two offerings in the Vagabond lineup. There is the 10 and the 20. The 10 that you see here comes with a 1x10 microshift sword group set and cable operated brakes. The 20 comes in a pink colour and comes with a SRAM group set, 1x12 hydraulic disc brakes. Both use the same steel frame with Genesis's own brand of tubing, which I think is pronounced Molyneux. I'm not certain. So, before all of that, what is the Vagabond? Well, the Vagabond is what's classed as a monster gravel bike. Basically, it means it's designed to accommodate a much larger, wider, higher volume tyre for more go-anywhere adventures, something the Genesis brand is well known for. As an owner of two of their Caribou fat bikes in the past, one is still on the go. They're definitely the originators of the adventure bike brand. So, what does it mean for us with the Vagabond? It means we get a 29 by 2.35 inch tyre on this gravel bike. That's mountain bike territory, albeit it's not too knobbly on the Maxxis tyres that are provided here. So that's what it is, that's what it's aimed at. It's aimed at adventure and it's aimed at all day riding comfort. If you're looking for a fast bike, go and look at the Genesis CDA or any other sort of more standard gravel bike that you might find out there. If you're still interested at this point in the monster gravel offering, let's get into the detail. So first up, let's talk a little bit about the frame before we get into anything else, because I've got a few things I want to point out about this frame. So the frame uses a through axle setup. It's boost at the rear, 100mm wide, 12mm through axle at the front. All really nice stuff for a good rigid ride. But I want to talk about the finish of the frame. Once again, if you've seen my CDA build and my reviews of the Genesis CDA, the one thing I do think that Genesis do exceptionally well is their paint finishes. The finish on this bike is thick, glossy, all the decals and little details under the gloss really, really nice and give you an air of quality above, in my opinion, above its price point, which is really nice to see in a bike like this, because it is going to get hammering, but it still needs a good thick finish to protect that steel. It's not just about the look, it's knowing it's got a durable finish, and that's really something to take into consideration with a steel bike. So that's the frame. Oh yeah, and something else well worthy of note while we're talking about the frame is the bottom bracket. The Vagabond uses a T47 bottom bracket standard, which is said to be the new standard of bikes going forwards. It's very popular at the moment and it's really nice to see on a bike like this. Okay, so up in the cockpit area, first thing you notice is the wide bars, nice wide flared bars. All the finishing kit on the bike is provided by Amplitude, which is another Sportline brand, as are Genesis. One thing that caught my eye about the Vagabond 10 and its spec was actually the group set. Straight away you'll notice the buttoning is different here because this is microshift sword. It's not Shimano or SRAM, it's microshift. It is somewhat compatible with Shimano, but forget about that. I was really intrigued with this group set. I've seen it before and wanted to try a bike with it anyway. And actually, I have to say, it's quite interesting. Everything appears to be made out of plastic. Shifting is much the same as Shimano, just with 2 buttons on the side rather than a whole throw. No compatibility for a dropper on this shifter, just the brake for the rear. But it's interesting to see it as a choice on a bike at this price point. Let's look at it on the back as well. Let's have a look at this Microshift sword group set out back. There's more plastic form parts, more of the same, but I have to say the quality is really nice, and it must make it a lighter weight setup. But you're not going to care about any of that if you haven't got the gears. It is obvious that the Vagabond is not a lightweight offering, so the gearing is going to be all important here, and you're not going to be found wanting with what's on offer from Microshift at the back. You have got an 1148 cassette, 10-speed at the back, with the 34 up front, gives you plenty of range. That's a 3448 climbing gear, and having tried it, as you can tell, this isn't fresh off the shelf, it's covered in dirt and dust. That is plenty for the kind of places I ride, and I've ridden locally and up in the Peak District where it's hilly, and it has not left me high and dry. Using the group set, I actually have really taken to Microshift Sword. It's lovely to use, it's really nice to look after, and as a bike mechanic, it's very, very quick to set up. All good things. And if you're wondering what the Microshift Sword group set shifts like, wow. My personal opinion, it's pretty much like SRAM in a way that it's a little clunky, but it's very precise. Oh yeah, and with that noise of that amazing free-up, probably best we start talking about the wheels. Yeah, so when it comes to the wheels, they are provided again by Genesis's support brand, if you will, Amplitude, and they're a really nice wheel. Very impressed to see they come tubeless ready, including one thing I thought was a really nice touch. I don't know whether you can see that there, but the valves, and they're nice valves. So they come taped and ready. Just add sealant, and you've got a tubeless ready tyre in the shape of the Maxxis Icon, ready to convert. I converted these straight away in Dave's shop with Dave. I thought it might as well run it tubeless straight away. Bear in mind, these are classed as tubeless ready, which means that they aren't necessarily going to seal totally without sealant. You're going to need a little bit of sealant in there. Ours sealed up fine. There was a little bit of air escaping through a couple of the spoke nipples at the start, but that settled literally after a quick test ride. It was absolutely fine. The wheels overall, it's nice to see stainless spokes, and they're silver as well. Really like that. But they're not black spokes, they're silver spokes, brass nipples by the look of it. Hubs are unbranded, but as you can hear from the back one, it's got plenty of noise if nothing else. Oh, and the through axle. The through axle is a lovely thing. So the through axles look like this, but they've got a little built-in thing for taking them on and off. I think that's ace. I think that's a really smart little idea. It's just, you know, one of those little things that makes you happy as a cyclist. Novel things like that. Okay, so we've talked about the wheels and the group set, everything that makes the bike go. Now we need to talk about what's going to make it stop. The Vagabond 10 comes with TRP Spire Cs. These are my favourite cable actuated brake, purely because they actuate from both sides, 2 pistons rather than 1, providing ample power. Now, as somebody who rides a lot of gravel, I actually don't mind cable actuated brakes. They're absolutely fine. They work nicely, and there's room for upgrade if you want to do it. Personally, these are fantastic. They're a great option. If you haven't tried them, don't dismiss them, especially because on the Vagabond, you get a 180mm rotor up front and a 160 out back. Everything is done with flat mount calipers front and rear though. But seriously, they're a nice stopper. Okay, so there you go. That's the spec of the bike. And the one thing we haven't spoken about is the price. So the Vagabond 10 comes in at 1,799, so just a shade under £1,800. I think that's quite a lot of bike for the money. That's my personal opinion. You might see it differently. I think there's a lot of bike there to be had. and you're basing it around a quality frame, which is something people don't think about enough when they're buying a bike. They look for finishing kit rather than a good, reliable, robust frame. You have to remember, the Vagabond has been developed over the past 10 years, 20 years or more. It started out as a more aggressive touring bike and it's turned into what it is now. It's a fantastic machine. So if you want the 20, which comes in like a pinky colour, I know because Chops has bought one. So taken was she with my 10 that she's bought one of her own. Interesting point, that comes in at £2,300, but you get the SRAM group set, the hydros, and the same is set up otherwise, unless you order a small or an extra small. Chops is only small, so she's had a small. Saying small a lot. The small frame, to keep the geometry sweet, comes with 650B wheels, still with 2.35 tyres. A nice, thoughtful touch. The right size wheel for the right size frame. Okay, so with all that out of the way, we now need to get to the most important point, and that is how does it ride? And for that, I'm going to show you some footage from the last 2 Gravelton rides, talk about the highs and lows of testing the Genesis Vagabond. So check this out.
So climbing aboard the Vagabond for the first time, you're aware of that geometry. It's slack, it's laid back, it's comfortable, you're in the bike. The combination of those wide tyres and that double-butted steel soak up the bumps and bring the bike to life on the trails. What's nice to see as well is Genesis add a 46cm bar for the large bike, which is great for broader, larger riders like me. Alongside that, the microshift covers all bases. The whole bike is confidence inspiring, and within a few miles, I'm really starting to feel like this is the kind of bike I could get on with. It does it all. And what surprises me is that at this point, I'm not thinking about changing anything. Normally, a few miles into a ride, I'm thinking about what I'd change, what I'd do to customise the bike. None of that is going through my head. I'm just having fun. In fact, I'm already enjoying this bike so much that it led me to say this.
Look at this. Hey, this is what you should have. This is what you should have.
And that's what she did. Chops went out and got herself a Vagabond 20, giving me a chance to see the upgraded group set, that SRAM, the hydros and all of that. But it didn't detract from the experience I was having on the Vagabond 10. By this point, we're in our second Gravelton ride, and the Vagabond is continuing to impress with its specification. That microshift sword is faultless. The G700, it's precise, a little clunky, but very good. The brakes came into their own once bedded in. The TRP spires certainly won't disappoint as long as you're happy with the cable actuated disc brake. So all in all, 2 amazing rides to get to know this bike, and honestly, no complaints from me at all. I'm really impressed with this bike, and it is certainly a nice place to spend the whole day riding.
High praise indeed for a fine machine. Let's recap on the main points of the Vagabond, and that's that geometry, that lovely, relaxed, comfortable geometry, a lovely place to spend the day. The gearing, ample for most all situations. The handling, so good, so nimble yet dependable. Very confidence inspiring on the descents, and that is one thing that I really do like about the Vagabond. The brakes, absolutely fine. Plenty of power there. You've got to bear in mind that me, at the handlebars, I'm over 100 kilos of rider, and that thing stops absolutely fine. So if you're a little bit more on the slender side, you've got nothing to worry about. Probably the same for the gear range as well, for that matter. So, on to the next point. Okay, so we've talked about the Vagabond, how it's put together and how it rides. One final thing to think about then is, who is it for? Well, it'd be easy to say for tall riders who don't want to soar back. It's definitely got that covered. That comfortable geometry is actually, for me, as someone over 6 foot, I'm riding a large. It is revelationary. If I had an extra large, I don't think I'd be able to get on it. So there we go. So who's it aimed at though? Well, for me, I think if speed is not an issue, but going everywhere and having a bit of mountain bike trails and a bit of everything else is, this is going to be a serious consideration for you. If you like steel, you like that comfort of steel, you're not too worried about the extra weight of the bike in general, again, this could be for you. If you do a lot of bike packing, this is one of the things I think you should consider. If you like your bike packing, this has got to be on your list. I started my bike packing adventures on a fat bike, 4-inch tyres, and I liked it purely because it handled the weight very, very nicely. That is one thing the Vagabond also is going to shine at. It handles anything you load onto it really, really well. The handling isn't changing too much from what I've seen so far. And it just swallows it up with all those mounts and everything else. It'll swallow all the bags that you can throw at it. So that's another consideration. It could be for the bike packer, could be for the long distance rider. And I think as well, I'm going to show you in another video, there's scope for a second wheel set in this particular bike. I think it's going to give you lots of options. But before we get onto that, let's wrap up this video by showing you this with a bike packing setup. So, to the outside, now! And this is what I'm talking about. What do you want? Apart from a puppy dog. No room for puppy dogs. Is there, Perry? And this is what I'm talking about. Just look how good the Vagabond looks with all its bike packing kit. I'm getting this ready for a multi-day trip and I thought this is a great opportunity to point out this could be the Vagabond in its ultimate ace card. That big robust frame and those massive wide tyres are going to carry weight really, really well. That relaxed position, you're going to be set up in a comfortable position for the day's riding, and everything handles the bags really, really well. You've got so many mounting options. You could go for racks, you could go for panniers, you can go for the setup like I'm going for. It's all there available, but you've got the fatness of the tyres to allow you to ride off-road, even with panniers, I would think. It's another great point for the Vagabond. Okay, so I think it is safe to say that I'm suitably impressed with the Genesis Vagabond. It is a fantastic bike, and I'm so grateful to the guys at Genesis Bikes and to Dave and Jack at Pickerings for orchestrating the opportunity for me to try this bike out. Now, I have to come clean. I am so impressed with this bike that I've reached out to them and asked if there's a possibility for me to purchase this very Vagabond. I have never had such a comfortable off-road experience as riding the Vagabond 10. My back doesn't hurt. I can put my power down and spin efficiently and at a good average pace. My hands don't go numb. I enjoy the descents as much as I would on a mountain bike. It's steel framed and it's ready for bike packing. All these things tick the boxes for me. So I've reached out to them and asked, and plans are afoot for me to purchase this. There we go. I've put my money where my mouth is. I am buying a bike that I've been sent on review. Now, I'm about to take this bike away for a 4-day bike packing trip, hence the bags going on here. I've had a little idea for that there might be scope to expand the Vagabond's utilitarian nature a little further with the shape of another wheel set. So let me give you a little teaser. There's obviously going to be a full video on that bike packing trip and a review after that of the Vagabond with what I've got planned. Let me show you this. I'm trying a new angle, and it's basically putting puppies in my videos. Putting puppies in my videos to get more views. Yes, because everybody loves the pop-up, don't they? Okay, so my other idea is this, is to have a second wheel set. I happen to have these DT Swiss wheels that I was given a while back because nobody seemed to find a bike that they would fit. Turns out these fit the Vagabond perfectly. So I've added 2.35-inch Schwalbe 1 lightweight gravel tyres, still 2.35, same width, so still gonna look fat on the bike, but a lot less rolling resistance. They are super, super light as well. I've also added an 1150 cassette so that when it's loaded up, it's going to be able to have just an extra bit of climbing gear. The reason for all this is rides like we've got planned in a few weeks. It's a 4-day trip, most of it is cycleway, bit of single track, bit of road. It's a good mix where maybe those knobblies might not be doing the job. So there we go, there's a little teaser ahead of the full video after the trip. Okay, so there we go. That wraps up the Vagabond review for now until the next one. So hope your next ride is downhill, smooth tarmac, keep your wheels spinning, keep your rubber on the road or your knobblies out on that trail. Be safe out there, look out for one another, be a good human being first, and even better, cyclist second. If you get a minute, it'd be amazing if you could like and subscribe. Really helps the channel grow. I still can't believe we've tipped over 3,000 subscribers. I'm truly humbled by that, but there's no stopping me. Gonna keep growing, keep getting the cycling content out there. But don't worry about any of that, because I don't want it to get in the way of you getting out and riding your bike. Until next time, it's been Downhill Smooth Tarmac. Thanks for watching.